Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner.
In our top story, in a show of solidarity with Egypt, the city of Tel Aviv lit its municipal building in the colors of the Egyptian flag after a devastating terror attack on the Sinai Peninsula. More than 300 people were killed and hundreds were wounded when terrorists carrying Islamic State flags opened fire in a mosque and then bombed the religious compound. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a statement condemning this terrible and despicable terror attack and sent condolences in the name of all the citizens of Israel. Following the deadly attack, several foreign media sources reported that Israel's assistance has gone far beyond just words and that the Jewish state is covertly helping Egypt to fight Islamic State terrorists.
Prince Salman, the heir to the Saudi throne, has spoken out against the supreme leader of Iran. In an interview with the New York Times, Mohammed bin Salman called Ayatollah Ali Khamenei the new Hitler of the Middle East and warned that Iran's expansion must be confronted. He said, "We learned from Europe that appeasement doesn't work and that we cannot allow what happened there to happen in the Middle East." Tensions between the two countries reached a boiling point when Iranian-armed Houthi rebels fired a missile at the Saudi capital just a few weeks ago. Prince Salman also warned that any future conflict with the Islamic Republic would be waged on Iranian soil.
Israeli and American leaders are working together to stop the publication of a blacklist of Israeli companies by the United Nations. The UN Human Rights Council has commissioned a database of companies that are operating in the heartland of the Jewish state as well as parts of Jerusalem. The registry contains the names of hundreds of Israeli businesses in addition to more than 50 international companies. Israeli officials fear that the publication of the list could have devastating consequences for Israel by striking fear in potential and current businesses operating within the Jewish state. They believe the UN's boycott list could deter international investment, drive companies to dump their shares in Israeli firms, and pressure them to pull out of business in the Jewish state over concern for product boycotts.
The Islamic Republic has threatened to adjust its missile range in order to reach European cities. A senior member of the Revolutionary Guards warned that if Europe continues to threaten Tehran, it will become the target of Iranian missiles. This comes as Paris has demanded that the rogue Islamic Republic open an uncompromising dialogue on its ballistic missile program, which is known to be the largest in the Middle East. Iranian officials have previously said that they do not need to increase their missile range beyond 2,000 kilometers because they can easily reach Israel and most American interests in the region. But according to the deputy head of the Revolutionary Guard, Iran is able and prepared to adjust its missile range to hit Europe.
The White House has backtracked on its threat to shutter the PLO mission in Washington, D.C. The Trump administration announced that it will allow the diplomatic compound to remain open despite putting the offices on notice that they could be closed for violating U.S. law. The Palestinian Authority recently threatened to cut ties with the White House over the possible closure of its offices and in order to freeze in contact with the American consulate in Jerusalem and visiting American officials.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was in Nairobi last week, where he met with 11 African heads of state. The Prime Minister was in Kenya for the inauguration ceremony of the country's recently re-elected president. The Prime Minister spoke at an official luncheon and held a series of bilateral meetings with the leaders of African nations. Israel has been working toward deepening ties with Africa. Netanyahu said 4 Israeli diplomatic missions have been opened in Africa in the past 2 years, and he said that he hopes that this is just the beginning.
The Israeli Defense Forces are preparing to deploy its first all-female tank crew. The Army has launched a pilot program to integrate women in the Armored Corps Division in response to a record number of women volunteering for combat positions in the IDF. Volunteers were selected from the mixed gender combat recruits and were trained in the Merkava Mark III tank. The all-female unit will serve in the Army's 80th Division, stationed along the borders in southern Israel and the Arava Desert. Recently, there's been a major increase in women serving in combat roles in the Israeli Army. According to the IDF, the number of female combat soldiers has risen 5-fold since 2012.
Israel's Magen David Adom Emergency Service has announced that it will open Israel's first breast milk storage facility. The project, set up in conjunction with the Israel Milk Bank, will allow nursing mothers to donate breast milk for premature babies and infants in the hospital. The milk will be screened, pasteurized, and frozen so that newborns in need will be provided with the vital nutrients that they can only receive through breast milk. The milk bank is scheduled to open operations in April of 2018.
A life-sized replica of the spoils of Jerusalem from the Arch of Titus is now on display at the Yeshiva University Museum in New York City. This massive panel depicts Roman armies carrying off the treasures of the Jewish temple in the year 71 of the Common Era. Soldiers are shown holding the great menorah and other sacred vessels, which Titus's troops looted from the Holy Temple in Jerusalem before destroying it. Several reproductions of this famous statue exist. In fact, Israel's foreign ministry recently gifted one to the United Nations to remind the world body that Jews have lived in the land of Israel for thousands of years. The replica will be on display as part of Yeshiva University's exhibit entitled From Jerusalem to Rome and Back.
A German court has ruled that an Arab airline can legally refuse service to Israeli citizens. A Frankfurt state court rejected a discrimination claim by an Israeli citizen, ruling that the airline can refuse service to an individual based on his nationality. Several German politicians are calling that decision flawed and are demanding that Kuwait Airways be banned from operating in Germany. The mayor of Frankfurt said that an airline that practices discrimination and anti-Semitism by refusing Israeli passengers should not be allowed to take off or land in Frankfurt.
Two top officials from Saudi Arabia have visited a Jewish synagogue in France. Riyadh's ambassador to Paris was joined by the former Saudi justice minister at the Jewish house of worship. The pair told the chief rabbi of the city that this was their first time in a synagogue. They were shown the Torah scroll, and the rabbi explained the significance of the holy text. This unexpected but friendly visit has been the source of speculation of warming relations between Riyadh and Jerusalem. Several Israeli officials have confirmed that Israel holds covert ties with Saudi Arabia and is willing to cooperate and share intelligence with the royal kingdom.
The Vice President of the United States will address the Israeli Knesset during his upcoming visit to the Holy Land. The Speaker of the Knesset, Yuli Edelstein, has confirmed that he's been given a request for Mike Pence to address the Israeli parliament during his visit in December. Pence is a longtime friend of the Jewish state, and he was the second chairman of the Congressional Israel Allies Caucus while he served in the House of Representatives. The VP's visit is said to highlight the plight of Christians throughout the Middle East. Christians have faced increasing persecution throughout the region, with the exception of Israel, which is the only place that the right to the freedom of religion is protected and celebrated. Israelis commemorated 70 years since the United Nations voted in favor of establishing a Jewish state in the historic homeland of the Jewish people. Representatives from each of the 33 nations which voted in favor of Israel's independence attended the reenactment of the referendum, which was held in the original hall where the vote took place on November 29, 1947. Times Square also lit up in honor of the Jewish state. The screens there aired original footage of the historic vote, as well as David Ben-Gurion's declaration of the establishment of the State of Israel. That concludes the news portion of our show. Stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host Josh Reinstein, and we're here on a beautiful sunny day on our rooftop studio in Jerusalem. My guest today is Aran Rosen. He's the founder and director of Be Kind. Aran, thank you for being on the show.
Hi Josh, how are you?
Tell our viewers a little about what is Be Kind.
So Be Kind is a social startup that uses tools and content in order to increase acts of kindness between people. We're doing it through using the power of education and technology.
This organization is founded in Israel. Does it work outside of Israel as well?
Yeah, it was founded around 1 year and 3 months ago in Israel. And since then it arrived to North America, United States, Canada, South America, Europe. Actually, you can say it got to all over the place.
And what do you mean by acts of kindness? What kind of acts of kindness are being demonstrated through the technology and the organization?
So in our social network that we developed, where people can share acts of kindness, we see all kinds of acts that are being done, because the users are from the ages of 7 till 80. So you can see from simple things like giving someone a ride, writing thank you notes, or also more complicated things like doing a day of volunteering together, helping animals, and you can see all various of types of good deeds that is being shared over there.
And how does technology play into this idea?
So we developed the Be Kind card, which is a card that enables you to start a chain of acts of kindness. And if you activate it through our social network, you can follow the chain and to see what has been done and where it has been done. And actually, this card helps to raise awareness, inspire, and amplify acts of kindness that are happening all around us. And actually, this is for you, Josh. So
thank you.
This can give you superpowers to make a positive change in the world.
Well, you know, this is basically based on the Jewish concept of tikkun olam, healing the world. How much of tikkun olam had a part to play in this organization?
So I think tikkun olam, you can call it tikkun olam, you can call it in all sorts of names from all sorts of origins, but tikkun olam for us is what drives us every morning that we wake up. We think how we can take our skills and our resources and make a positive change in the world, because we believe that if other people will have better lives, so it also affects our life. So this way, I mean, this is what motivates us, this is what drives us every morning when we wake up and go to work.
There's a lot of negative press about Israel in the media. How come things like this aren't talked about much?
You know, the thing about the press and the news sometimes, that they're putting amplifiers on negative things. If you watch the news, you'll probably see 90-95% of the things over there that are negative. And part of our mission is to amplify and to show that our good things are happening every day all around us. And we hope that these amplifiers will help to inspire others to also take acts of kindness. And I think in Israel you have wonderful things, you just a lot of times don't hear about them.
What's the future of Be Kind? What are things that are coming down the pipeline right now?
So the future of Be Kind, in 5 years from now, we're seeing Be Kind collaborating with businesses, with communities, with educational institutes, and helping them to create tools and contents that will help them to increase the existing potential of being more kind, because the potential is all around us. We just help to raise awareness, inspire, and take down barriers in order to fulfill this potential.
There are many Christians and church leaders watching this show today. What can they do to be part of the Be Kind network?
So I think the best and the most simple way, you can go into our website and you can order the Be Kind cards. People are using them for themselves to spread kindness, and people also give them as a meaningful gift for their loved ones or for colleagues at work. People also using them as educational tools, and you can order them. They will arrive any place on the planet, and it's a start in order to amplify and celebrate kindness. Also, we give talks and workshops about Be Kind, and we'll come anywhere that will invite us. We already did tours in North America, Eastern Europe, Israel. So I think this is the best way to support Be Kind and also to support kindness all over.
Aaron, there are literally tens of millions of people watching this show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
I think that every positive action, from a small one to a big one, has an impact on the world. And I think that if we as a society, as people of this world, will think how can I do something for another person that will make him a more positive day, I think it can really make a positive change in the world. So in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Thank you, Ron, for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein. Now back to the studio.
Up next, the return to Zion with Keren Hayesod.
Shalom and welcome to the Return to Zion with Keren Hayesod. I'm Eliezer Moody Sandberg, World Chairman of Keren HaYesod, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. Aliyah is the secret to the success of the modern State of Israel. Let's take a look at stories of people coming back home to Israel from around the world and see how they helped shape our great nation.
For 2,000 years, through some of the darkest chapters in history, the Jewish people have dreamt of returning home to the land of Israel. During the last century, this dream has become a reality. Millions of Jewish people from every corner of the earth have arrived in the land of their forefathers. They have brought to life Zechariah's prophecy, "I will return to Zion and dwell in Jerusalem." Many have landed on Israel's shores with little more than faith and hope in their hearts. But with the help of Keren HaYesod, they have built happy homes and successful lives. And some of these new arrivals have become the leaders and pioneers building the future of the Jewish state. Sofa Landver was born in Soviet Russia in 1949, just as the Cold War was taking its grip on the world. Any public display of Judaism could prove dangerous, but Landver was determined to reach the Jewish homeland and eventually arrive in Israel in 1979. She has since dedicated herself to public service, becoming a Knesset member in 1996. Landver is currently Minister of Aliyah and Integration, helping Jews across the world make their home in the Jewish state.
בשנת 79 הגעתי לכאן, נסגר מסך הברזל, אני זוכרת מה אני עברתי במדינה שלי. זה לא פשוט לעזוב בית ולהגיע למדינה ולהתחיל את הצעדים הראשונים ולהתקדם יחד עם משפחה, יחד עם החברים, ללמוד שפה. אבל כל בן אדם עובר את זה, ולפחות רק כאן הוא מרגיש זה הבית.
Michael Oren grew up in the freedom of New York, but he too felt the burning desire to return home to Israel, emigrating alone in 1979. Despite having no family in Israel, he fought as a paratrooper during the 1982 Lebanon War. Oren then built a glittering academic career, becoming one of Israel's leading thinkers, commentators, and authors. His prominence led Oren's appointment as Israel's ambassador to the United States in 2009, Israel's most important diplomat. Oren continues to guide Israel's future as a member of parliament today.
Israel is the nation state of the Jewish people. We need to band together to assist those who are the neediest, help absorb those who want to move to the state of Israel, to be repatriated to their ancestral homeland, and the integration process for them will be challenging. And today I'm immensely proud to be part of that continuing epic story of your involvement, of our involvement in making the Zionist dream not just a reality, but a shining reality.
Another Israeli ambassador to return to their country of birth is Belenish Zavadia. Zavadia was rescued from a remote village as a young child, arriving in Israel with no family, facing a strange new life all alone. Having graduated Hebrew University, she embarked on a diplomatic career. Zavadia has served the country across the world and incredibly returned to Ethiopia as Israel's ambassador in 2012.
הייתה לי הרגשה מעורבת. מצד אחד אני עוזבת את המשפחה שלי באתיופיה כי באתי לבד. ובצד שני כל הזמן אבא שלנו והמשפחה שלי, כל הדורות חלמו להגיע לארץ ישראל, למדינת ישראל, והחלום שלי הולך להתגשם. אני מכירה את קרן HaYesod טוב מאוד, את העזרה שלהם, את התמיכה שלהם. הם מפעילים את אולפן הציון. משם למדתי את העברית הבסיסית. עם זה הלכתי לאוניברסיטה, עם זה עד עכשיו, זה מה שמשמש אותי. זה מה שבנה אותי.
From Russia, United States, and Ethiopia, Sofa Landver, Michael Oren, and Belenish Zavadia represent a true ingathering of the exiles, as envisaged in scriptures. Jeremiah's prophecy, "Your children will return to their borders," is happening before our eyes. And with your support, you can ensure that Keren HaYesod helps many more make the journey home to Israel, guaranteeing that the dream of 2,000 years continues.
Let's bless Israel together.
To donate and get information, call us at 1-800-505-1665 or visit our website at www.khisrael.org.
As a member of Knesset, I chaired a secret committee, not open to the public, that took an intimate look at what the Palestinian Authority teaches Palestinian children in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, in the textbooks, in popular culture, on television. And I must say, I've been through a few wars in my life. I've been through some tough things. What I saw in this secret committee literally sickened me. The Palestinian Authority, this is not Hamas, this is not Hezbollah, the Palestinian Authority, our ostensible peace partners, teaches its children not only that they must kill Jews, but actually teaches them how to kill Jews, where to stick the knife, how to turn the knife, how to bring about the most damage to a human body. Deeply disturbing, deeply sick, and I believe beyond that, deeply evil. The incitement is pervasive. It comes in the form of naming Palestinian schools, Palestinian public squares, Palestinian soccer teams, even math contests and summer camps for Palestinian terrorists who have murdered tens and in some cases hundreds of Israelis. A school named for the perpetrator, the mastermind behind the 1972 Munich massacre. A women's soccer team named for the mastermind and perpetrator of the 1978 Coastal Massacre that killed 36 Israelis, including 13 children. Who names a women's soccer team after a terrorist like that? And a Palestinian youngster encountering this type of brainwashing in the media, in the internet, in the school, in the public space, what kind of message does that Palestinian child get? That it's good to kill Jews, that it's just to kill Jews, that it's imperative to kill Jews, and if you do grow up to kill Jews, you too will be revered. That is the greatest single impediment to peace.
Please stay tuned for the ICEJ report from the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, the center of the Middle East, the center of the world, the city of God, and right here almost 40 years ago, led by the Holy Spirit, Christian leaders from around the world established the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem, to demonstrate to the Jewish people that they are not alone, but that millions of Bible-believing Christians are standing with them, still believing in God's ancient covenant promises that He made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Today, the Christian Embassy has become an active voice of support to the Jewish people. Over the next few minutes, you will meet our team, and more importantly, you will meet those people who we could bless here in the land of Israel. It is such an exciting time to be your embassy, your voice here in the land of Israel. Take a look.
It is God's design to make Israel a light unto the nations. We at the ICJ are passionate about Israel and about her relationship with the world. This is why we have celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles in Jerusalem since 1980. We have now branches in more than 90 countries all over the world, and we connect believers from more than 170 nations with Israel. The plan of God for Israel also includes the plan for all the nations. This is why we are so excited.
My name is Emma Villarreal. I represent the country of Mexico. Zechariah 14 talks about how all the nations of the world are going to come together to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. And we don't want to wait into the new Jerusalem for that to happen. We want as heaven as it is on earth, so we're starting right now.
Through the love and financial support of Christians like you, elderly Holocaust survivors are being taken care of. But this home is not just buildings. It's a loving community where we as ICJ have become, as some residents would say, the family they once lost. What an awesome privilege. And with the ongoing expansion and the new developments, we are excited about the future of this ICJ home for Holocaust survivors.
ואני מודה עם כל הלב באמת לשגרירות מה שהם עושים בשבילנו. שאחרי מה שאנחנו עברנו יש דבר כזה ואני מלא תודה.
Because of your partnership, we've been able to dramatically impact Israeli lives. Your giving has played an active role in transforming not only individual lives, but it also impacts the future of Israel. Through our work here in Israel, we've been able to provide comfort and be a voice of hope and reconciliation for the many people groups in this land.
המלגה שקיבלתי מהשגרירות הנוצרית ומזה שהבנתי שאנשים מסביב לעולם פשוט מאמינים בי ותומכים בי, אני יודעת שאשיג את החלום שלי.
ICEJ continues working to bring God's people home from the four corners of the earth. Because of your faithful giving, we have been able to welcome Jewish people to their biblical homeland of Israel through sponsoring flights, transportation assistance, and helping immigrants start a new life. It has been a privilege for the ICEJ to help fulfill the lifelong dreams of so many who have waited so long to return home, to reunite them with their families, and to be a part of their new beginning.
The Christian Embassy, Jerusalem, has been our friend for many, many years. Their donations and their help make days like today possible. Christians around the world, they are our best friends.
እና የበለጠ ደግሞ ለነሱ ምስጋናን የምናቀርበው እኛ ምንም ማለት አንችልም። ውለታቸውን እግዚአብሔር ይክፈለው እና ደግሞ በዚህ እንዳያቆሙ እግዚአብሔር ይስጥልን። ውለታቸውን እግዚአብሔር ይክፈለው።
It is so exciting to see God rebuilding Zion, to see Him restoring His people back to their land. No matter where you live, you too can participate in what God is doing here in the land of Israel. Jesus said, "Whatever you have done to the least of my brethren, you have done to me." Today, you can show the love of Christ to His people. Let us be your embassy, your voice here in Jerusalem. And if you haven't yet partnered with us, go to icej.org/partnership and join us today.
That's going to do it for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner reporting from our studio in Jerusalem. Please join us again next week for all of your Israel updates.